He's firmly in the top 10 quarterbacks in the league for me, probably even a little bit higher than that. All right, welcome in. It's the Breer Report for October the 7th. Week 5 is now in the books, and we have a lot to get to. And we're going to start with the last thing we saw, which was the Jacksonville Jaguars gutting out a 31-28 win, a signature win for Liam Cohen in his first year as the head coach there. And the Jags have now beaten in back-to-back weeks two teams that have been to multiple Super Bowls in recent years. The Niners last week, the Chiefs this week. And I think what you saw in this one was a real resilience from Liam Cohen's group and being able to fight past a Chiefs team that played with urgency, they played with some desperation down the stretch. So lots of good things to take from the Jaguars win. First, I think the defense making a play, and that's going to be the way it's going to have to be when you're playing against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, right? But to make that play on the goal line, Devin Lloyd with the big pick six there, another big play from their former first-round linebacker. I think it really speaks volumes to where they are as a team, like just being able to come up with a play like that. And then, of course, offensively, some of the resilience that they showed, getting in some negative play situations that put them behind the sticks, being able to fight through that. Then in the last drive of the game, the three key plays without question. The one just dime down the sideline from Trevor Lawrence to Brian Thomas. Then they're able to draw the pass interference call. Brian Thomas draws the pass interference call in the end zone, where the Chiefs actually wound up picking that ball off. But there's face guarding on that play, and then just the wild play. My colleague, Pat Forty, I think put it best. It was almost like a drunken touchdown at the Thanksgiving, front yard touch football game. Like Trevor Lawrence stumbles out of the snap. It looks like it is going to be a disaster of a play. He's able to gather himself, get back on his feet, and get into the end zone. And I think what we're seeing here is Liam Cohen finding a way to really highlight the talent that he already has on the roster. And I said this going back to April, right? Like when the Jaguars made the decision to trade up from 5 to 2 and go and get Travis Hunter, and Hunter's part of this equation. I think from the general manager, James Gladstone, from Cohen himself, from their staffs, this was almost an implicit acknowledgement that they're closer than people thought. In other words, that's not a move you make. You don't trade a future first-round pick away for a singular player, especially a singular player who's not a line of scrimmage player or a quarterback. You're taking that guy with a second overall pick if you don't think that you're right there, if you don't think you're right on the edge, if you don't think that you're close. And now with how they're maximizing some guys and some of their, some of their former first-round picks, again, a guy like Brian Thomas, a guy like Josh Allen Hines, a guy like Devin Lloyd. You have all of these guys who were there before. Travis Etienne would be another one. You have all these guys who were there before who are now being maximized by the current staff. And so I didn't think they were close. I thought the Travis Hunter deal, to me, when it happened, to me, it was like, all right, like, are they really as close as they think they are? This looks like a really good team. Again, they've won now in back-to-back weeks against real established powerhouse, going into San Francisco, winning, and then winning at home on a Monday night. A-plus effort from the Jacksonville Jaguars on Monday night. Wasn't perfect, but they showed some resilience, fought through it. And now, they're in a dogfight atop the AFC South, which, believe it or not, has 2 4-1 teams in it with the Jaguars and the Colts. And neither of those are the presumptive favorite, the Texans, who are just climbing off the mat now at 2-3. All right, our second topic for today, maybe the most entertaining game of the weekend, was all the way out in Seattle. Best uniform game of the weekend, without question, with the old school creamsicles and the royal blue Seattle uniforms. The Buccaneers wind up outlasting the Seattle Seahawks in what could be another playoff preview. So the Bucs are now 4-1, and I've been saying this for some time. I really think the operation in Tampa is so impressive. What they've been able to do in managing some of their offensive line absences early this year, managing Chris Godwin's absence, now Mike Evans' absence, and having Emeka Egbuka up and ready to go. You see elsewhere on the roster where they've flipped and gotten younger, right? If you really want to look at it comparatively, you look at where the Buccaneers are in their post-Tom Brady era and how they came out of their Tom Brady era. And it was much, much cleaner than the Patriots came out of it, right? The Patriots have been seen as this gold standard in the NFL, and they've done a nice job this year. But the Patriots were seen as this gold standard in the NFL for 20 years, and they really couldn't get out of their way for the first 5 years there post Tom Brady. And the Buccaneers wasn't like that, right? The Buccaneers won a Super Bowl their first year with Tom Brady. They win division titles the next 2 years. And then in the 2 years since then, they've won division titles. And now it looks like they're one of the very best teams in the NFC. So operationally, they deserve a ton of credit. But I do want to drill down on the quarterback here because he deserves credit because he's more than just a cog in the machine. And I think sometimes we make the mistake of thinking these things when you have a guy plugged into a situation that another quarterback made great. Baker Mayfield was out there on Sunday without 2 starting offensive linemen. Cody Mock's still down. Luke Gadecki's still down. He doesn't have Chris Godwin at full speed yet. Mike Evans isn't playing. Bucky Irving isn't playing. And yet he's throwing for over 300 yards. This is a total shootout, right? And he is putting the team on his back and helping them win that game. He played like a guy who was the first overall pick. And the touchdown throw to tie it, the throw that he made to Sterling Shepard, where he broke contain, got outside the pocket, threw across his body to Sterling Shepard in the back of the end zone. That was something that would have created an eruption of emojis on social media if Josh Allen were to have made that play, if Patrick Mahomes were to have made that play. It was a big-time play. And I just think across the board now, you look at the job that Baker Mayfield has done and where he can take this from here. He's firmly in the top 10 quarterbacks in the league for me, probably even a little bit higher than that. And a reason now, not just a cog in the wheel, a reason now that I think the Bucs have emerged as very real Super Bowl contenders in the NFC. All right, our third topic, and we will go back down to the bottom of the standings now and take a look at a team that got its very first victory. There's only one winless team left. We have no unbeatens left after week 5. We only have one winless team left. That's the Jets. And a team that finally scored its first win on Sunday, the Tennessee Titans. And I think you have to give them a lot of credit. I think Brian Callahan deserves credit after the week he had. I think Cam Ward deserves credit after the week he had. Look, I've, talked to a bunch of those guys in the couple of days since, and really their handling of coming off of a really bad loss the week before, that 26-0 loss. And to be able to kind of keep your head about you, to stay level after that sort of loss. And after then you go to Arizona across the country and you fall behind 21-3. I personally thought, seeing that, it deserved some closer examination. What I found was a couple of different things. Number one, Cam Ward had the "we asked" comment last week. Well, I think his teammates really appreciated his candor, really appreciated how he was taking the loss to heart. He was taking ownership in it and how blunt he was. But they also, made the point to him, some of the veteran teammates, the veteran leaders in that team made the point to him that can affect other people in the building, right? So they had that talk, and I think that was a good thing. Then Brian Callahan had his weekly meeting with his captains on Wednesday, and they put everything on the table. They were very honest with each other about what had gone wrong. They really tried to add perspective to it and saying that we're in all of these games and they're getting away from us at the end. And lo and behold, in this one, the opposite happens. This one gets away from them at the beginning. They're down 21-3. It looks like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. And then they're there through a bunch of hustle plays, right? Like the fumble recovery and the fumble recovery for the touchdown. L'Jarius Sneed chasing down the Cardinals running back and at least influencing the fumble there at the end. And then Cam Ward and the play he was able to make at the very end of that game that I think will go down if he winds up becoming what the Titans think he's going to be. This will go down as one of the early signs of who he can be. And one thing, that Brian Callahan did with Cam Ward during the week and did with Cam Ward during the game was, hey, look, man, just calm down. All right. Trust your eyes, trust what you're seeing. and go out there and rip it. Play with your eyes. And on the big play down the sideline to Calvin Ridley, that showed up. That ball was in a place where only Ridley could get it. A spectacular catch by Ridley, and that puts them in position to kick the game-winning field goal and win the game. And I'm not saying the Titans are on their way to anything big. There was a lot of sloppiness from the Cardinals at the end of this one, but at the very least, the Titans positioned themselves because they were level in a situation where things could have gotten out of control a little bit. They were very level. It put them in position to take advantage of the sloppiness from the Cardinals. And so now I think you see where, okay, you got something to build on, and we'll see where they go from here. But I was excited to see Cam Ward. You see a little bit of the electricity he can bring to the game and how they're trying to harness that now. Again, I think Ward and Callahan deserve some credit for weathering the storm, and we'll see where they take it from here. Appreciate you guys coming out. As always, we will have a mailbag edition of the Breer Report coming for you in midweek. And then coming out of Thursday Night Football, going into the weekend's games, we'll have another Breer Report for you. As always, you can leave us feedback on YouTube, on the comments down below, or you can get to me on social media at Albert Breer on Twitter, at Albert_Breer on Instagram, at Albert R. Breer on Facebook. We'll see you guys next time.